What does Trump getting elected mean for you? You are a U.S. citizen living abroad, or you are a non-resident with U.S. investments, U.S. companies. Maybe you're paying no taxes because you have no business in the U.S. I help clients every day get this stuff set up to be compliant with tax filings. And now that we have this new administration, we have to see what is potentially going to change. And I want to give you my opinion on what will change, what won't change, and what might change. So for some historical context, when Trump was last in office, he actually created the Tax Cut and Jobs Act. He pushed that through. Congress approved it. And that actually made taxes a little bit worse for my citizens abroad. It made it more complicated, and it forced a repatriation of income, and it made it a little bit more complicated for my U.S. citizens abroad. Now, if you're a U.S. and American who lives abroad, I heard 3 weeks ago some videos and some posts by Trump saying that he wanted to end double taxation on Americans who are abroad. This would be a big shift from the citizenship-based taxation to a territorial-based taxation, and this could potentially get pushed through. I don't think Trump will get income taxes abolished altogether. I think that's gonna not get passed through Congress, but I think potentially he could, and I really hope it happens. I really hope he eliminates the citizenship-based taxation and then only taxes Americans who are living and working in the U.S. I would leave America. I would leave the U.S. if I didn't have to pay taxes when I left. But right now, if I leave the U.S., I just get help from double taxation, and I get some help from, I get the foreign income exclusion. I can exclude $120,000. But if I make $1 million, I still have to pay tax on the other $900,000 that I made. $825,000, even though I'm not living in the U.S. And I would probably move to country I love, like Panama, and I would be paying no taxes there. I'd just be paying U.S. taxes. So I'm less inspired to leave because I still have to pay taxes and comply with everything. So if they got rid of that, that would be pretty cool. I don't know if it's going to happen. And that's probably about 30% of my viewers. So if you're watching this and you're an American abroad, hopefully he does it. Hopefully he pushes it through. That's something that could potentially go through, but that's a big change and the taxation system of the U.S. And maybe there can be exceptions. I don't know how it would be done. It has to obviously get pushed through Congress. I think that has a higher chance of happening than eliminating taxation altogether, obviously. But I don't really think that Trump is focusing as much on taxation and changing the tax laws as he is the tariff concept and increasing tariffs and all those costs. So for all my other clients who are non-residents, a Spanish guy who lives in Dubai and has an LLC, I really do not see any changes in your tax situation. Most of the changes with the Tax Cut and Jobs Act were increasing depreciation, increasing the estate tax rules, increasing deductions for U.S. business owners. We're doing these decisions based on court cases and the applications of the current law. So it would change even more principles of taxation, and it would move the U.S. towards charging an income tax to everyone in the whole world. And it's not been a focus of really anyone in mainstream media to have this LLC, this taxation of foreign-owned U.S. LLCs. It's not a big enough market or niche to get any major media attention. My simple channel gets a lot of attention, and that's all I talk about. Not all, but primarily what I talk about. And, it's a small channel. So the core concept of being a foreign-owned U.S. LLC owner, like if you are, again, an Indian guy who lives in India, has a U.S. LLC, and you're doing e-commerce or you're doing a service business, and you're not paying taxes in the U.S. because you have no U.S. trade or business, I don't think those concepts are going to change because they're overarching broad concepts. And to change that would be to apply more, to change the whole taxation concept of what an LLC is and how it pays taxes. And I think it's more broad, it's more vague, and it's less likely to be changed because no one's clamoring for those changes either, while citizens abroad are clamoring for that change, and people do want their extended tax deductions, more depreciation, and I think they're going to focus more on deductions for Americans, potentially the move away from citizenship-based taxation, which would be amazing. And then finally, for all my non-resident people watching this, I really don't see how they would change this. Most of what we're doing is based on the tax laws being written before the internet, and a lot of it has state concepts as well. So, and I talk about this in a lot of videos, but I want to break it down to you even further because I want you to understand how this works. If you're a foreign person and you do a service or even an e-com, which is basically a marketing-based business, and you have an LLC, the LLC doesn't pay tax. If I have an LLC, I personally pay tax. The courts have ruled in different court cases that having an LLC and having a bank account And having a mailing address in the U.S. does not constitute having a U.S. trade or business. If you do not have a U.S. trade or business, if you're not doing business in the U.S., then you wouldn't pay tax in the U.S. And the LLC doesn't cause you to pay taxes. So if you are just selling to Americans, if you're providing services to U.S. companies or selling products to Americans, the tariffs are what would affect you, not necessarily the income taxes, because they're not going to charge income taxes. I guess potentially they could charge force withholding taxes on payments to companies abroad, but that would be additionally, that wouldn't really be taxing the foreign companies, that'd be taxing the American companies. I hope it doesn't come to that, but that's potentially something they could enforce, but that's more legislation. And Trump and this whole regime is less legislation, less reporting, more freedom of business, more quick, everything's quicker and less to do. So I don't see it changing to that regard either, to where when I have employees in Colombia, I'm required to withhold taxes on what I pay them. I think that that's an opposite, a move away from what their kind of their goals and the rhetoric is pointing towards. So I really don't see anything changing. Obviously, subscribe to the channel and I'll let you guys know. This is all speculation based on my opinion and what I've seen them talk about in the past. I really am excited to see what happens with this new administration. I know many people are anti-Trump, but obviously many people are pro-Trump, seeing on how favorably he won the election and based on my experience talking with clients. So I'm excited to see how it goes, and I'm excited to see what changes, and really it would be sick if we moved away from this citizenship-based taxation. And if you have any questions about this, if you need a consultation, if you need help setting up your company and making sure that you're operating the right way and not paying any income taxes, I'd encourage you to schedule a free call with the team. I'm going to be out the next week, but when this is probably going to come out, I'm going to be back in office when I actually put this out. If you pay for a technical call, that call is with me. I'm doing calls every day with people, so I'm on the pulse. I'm doing this every day. I'm helping people get these companies set up, get these bank accounts set up, and I'd love to help you too. So don't be nervous about the new regime. I'm really excited to see what happens. I think it's going to be very favorable in terms of taxation. The tariffs are interesting to see how that gets applied, but I don't think it's going to hit everyone. And stay tuned because I'm going to be talking about it. Thanks for being here. Like, subscribe. Appreciate you guys.